Welcome back. The headline is everywhere. AI is taking your job. But what if I told you that narrative is mostly wind? We are being told that ChatGPT and new AI models are the direct cause of the current tech layoffs. But that's an oversimplification, a convenient excuse. If AI is the real culprit, why are the real economic indicators telling a completely different story? Companies are laying people off while simultaneously investing billions more into AI. Technological disruption doesn't happen overnight. It happens over decades. The idea of mass job displacement happening in 18 months is historically inaccurate. AI is currently affecting specific early career roles. It's creating targeted displacement, not mass unemployment. And for one of the CEOs that I've listened to, is citing that AI is a clean, modern way to justify cuts. It sounds, so futuristic and proactive, but often it's just a shield for poor resource management. Yes, future displacement is a real threat, but we are confusing it with, future prediction with the, confusing a future prediction with the current reality. The single most important factor is, for words, the end of cheap money. For, over a decade, we lived in the era of zero interest rate policy, ZIRP. Money was practically free. This fueled massive reckless growth in tech. When central banks aggressively raised interest rates, the entire game changed. Companies were forced to stop chasing growth at any cost and focus on profitability immediately. High interest rates scare investors away from, risky bets. They demand a quick return, and the fastest way to achieve that is by cutting the biggest expense, which is payroll. Remember, in the 2020 and 2021, tech demand went vertical. Companies hired at a pace they could never sustain. What we're seeing now is the post-pandemic hangover. They hired for a world that no longer exists, and now they are correcting their own over-aggressive staffing mistakes. Layoffs are a CEO's cheat code to cut costs fast and boost, the stock price. It is an easy short-term fix to satisfy investors demanding immediate profitability. So, is AI a factor? Yes, it is a small accelerating element, but the real engine of layoffs is macroeconomics forces, interest rates, and necessary market correction after a decade of unsustainable growth. So we don't need to blame the new technology. Look at the old school financial levers that are truly pulling the strings. For all the billions being spent now, the delivery of AI is suffering from a massive failure rate. A recent MIT study found a staggering number, like 95% of corporate generative AI pilots fail to deliver any meaningful financial returns. So, companies, poured $40 billion into internal AI projects last year alone. For almost all of them, the return on that investment was zero. Not small, but zero. It's not just failure, it's stagnation. Most AI initiatives stall at the pilot stage. They build the cool demo, the fancy demo, but they cannot get it to work within, the messy, complicated reality of the real business. The Boston Consulting Group calls it a widening AI value gap. Only a tiny elite 5% companies are successfully achieving bottom line value from AI at scale, and the rest are just, spinning their wheels. The number one reason AI projects fail isn't the algorithm, it is the data. Because as we said it, earlier, rubbish in, rubbish out. If you bring, non-quality data into the system, the output must be, garbage. So companies lack the clean, the trusted, unified data needed to train a reliable model. You cannot put a supermodel on bad ingredients. They are using AI for the wrong job. Companies rushed to deploy Gen AI in customer-facing roles like sales and marketing areas that still need human empathy and touch. They should have, been focusing on the boring stuff like back office admin, inventory, supply chain. That's where the real automation value is locked away. You have a cutting-edge AI model trying to plug into a 20-year-old legacy system. It's like trying to run an electric car on a dirty truck. The infrastructure isn't there to support the ambition. This isn't a tech problem. It is a management problem. Top leadership often delegates AI strategy to middle management and fails to articulate a clear vision for value. If the CEO cannot explain the AI's return on investment, the project is dead on arrival. So you have companies spending hundreds of billions on data centers and chips. They are doubling down on the potential of AI, but they are seeing no profit from the actual delivery of the AI they already own, and that cash has to come from somewhere. This massive capex combined with the near zero return on investment creates an unbearable financial pressure cooker. They are forced to slash payroll, to slash payroll, to free up the capital to keep building the technology and its infrastructure that is not currently making them money. It is a vicious cycle. Lay off staff to pay for the AI, but then the AI fails to deliver because the company lacks the organizational focus and clean data that the laid off staff might have maintained.